Hey there, Chip Race audience. Well, I'm already feeling like I'm one of those variety show presenters who can no longer do their variety show in the normal ways, although we actually can. But here at the Chip Race, we thought we'd do a little catch-up video with you guys just to talk through, I suppose, what we're all feeling at the moment, which is maybe in some cases not sure what we're doing with our lives and it all being a bit weird. Dara, you're here with me, of course, as well. I can see a beautifully placed poker satellite strategy in the background. Guys, don't forget to buy that book. You've loads of time to read it now. How's it going with you, Dara?
Yeah, it's going fine. I mean, I have to say I'm probably one of the people least affected by this thing because my normal routine when I'm at home anyway is pretty much based around the house. I just go out to run and don't really meet people. Obviously, it's very worrying times for a lot of people though, and my wife's definitely feeling distressed. But for me personally, yeah, it's just pretty much do what I normally do. And as you can see, I'm dressed as I am normally. I'm rather alarmed by your new ensemble. I've never seen this ensemble before. It's, can you talk us through your fashion choice here?
Yeah, I think, well, not only fashion choices, but like I also, and it's kind of you not to mention this at the top, I actually cut my own hair yesterday.
Oh my God, yeah. You've done a really good job.
Let's have a look.
You've done a good job, yeah.
Yeah, relatively good job. It's a bit patchy at the back now, but sure, no one's looking at me. That's the thing now, isn't it? And I think there's going to be a lot of true hair colors and funky hairstyles for the next few months.
Yeah, Miranda's my hair, so I'm covered in that front as well. Yeah, I'm, as you can see, I mean, I always dress like this, so this is I'm not wearing the blazer anymore. I guess that's
do you wear the shirt in bed as well, or do you...
of course and the blazer too normally. But yeah, the blazer's behind me. I think she brought it to get cleaned just before the corona.
Oh yeah, it looks like it's been dry cleaned. Well, that's
so good. Yeah, I think we'll all be gagging for live poker when it eventually comes back, but in the meantime we have to make the most of online poker. How's online poker been going for you?
It's been going good. I thought I would have more time now, as I assume a lot of people think that they might. But the reality is I have less time now because my son Hunter can't go to childcare. So Sharon and I are sort of splitting those duties a bit more fairly. And as a consequence, that's eaten into a few of the afternoons a week where I could have been either doing interviews with you, Dara, or editing Chip Race segments, or even getting in a few sneaky extra sessions on top of the, I suppose, 3 sessions a week that I do these days. I sort of used to be a 6-7 day a week grinder back in the day, but every year that seems to come down. And these days I'd say I do a big Sunday and maybe 2 other sessions. And I'd love to do at least one more on top of that at the moment because it does look so soft. But it's funny what you were saying there about your life not being that impacted. I remember thinking at the beginning, like you always do, there's always a tension there where I know you're always sort of trying to reduce the amount of live commitment and travel commitment you have. And obviously they come at you anyway because you win loads of satellites to live things, or we have our Unibet tournaments, or you would have won satellite tokens on other sites and gone on their tours too. And I know it was always a battle for you of like,
yeah, you froze up there briefly, David.
I have to somebody gone. Oh no!
You're back now. You're back now. We got you saying it was always a battle for me, and then we missed everything after that.
Oh no, God, that was a long time ago. It's always a battle for you to try to keep manners on your live schedule, I suppose. You're always somebody who sort of obviously does the live travel and satellites into loads of live stuff, but at the same time, you would have been trying to keep that to 1 a month tops, or even less than that. You probably would have even preferred. Whereas I suppose I was a bit more willing to do the live stuff in general and kind of look forward to it as part of the balance, where I always felt like you were doing what you had to do, but trying to keep manners on it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not as committed to live poker as you are, and I had already made the decision I was going to cut back some stuff. I mean, it wasn't all my decision. Obviously, the MPN, which is one of our favorite tours, that disappeared. I also decided I wasn't going to grind all the Party Million events this year because that kind of dragged me all over the world last year, and I skipped the Aussie Millions. But now it looks like maybe WSOP won't be happening as well, or to be postponed. So It's quite funny. I did actually deliberately cut back on certain stuff, thinking this year would be like every other year, and now it turns out there won't be that much. But yeah, for me, I mean, online has been so good at the moment. It basically reminds me of what it used to be like 5 years
it is
ago.
a bit.
It's quite funny going back, and but there is a sense that like it can't last. So trying to put in as much volume as I can. I've gone back to playing pretty much every day now, and I'm trying to, like, normally I have a very good study routine, and I do that off the table, but at the moment I'm kind of thinking it's better for me just to focus really primarily on playing, and then, you know, when the games get bad again, I can go back to doing more study, more on my own study. So yeah, I've been playing pretty much every day,
That's great.
and I also find when I play every day I just sort of do better, because I kind of get into a groove. A lot of it is just intuitive. It's sort of pattern recognition, and even taking off 2 or 3 days a week just kind of disrupts with that.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Actually, somebody in the industry, I won't say just in case someone thinks this is in bad taste, they didn't mean it in bad taste, but they said coronavirus has been the best thing for online poker since Moneymaker. I, I do get that feeling that obviously, you know, there's a huge sort of wave of people coming into online poker now, either that they were playing live generally, or they're just bored and they want something to do to fill some hours. And you're right, it has, you know, the consequence is a huge boom for poker, which you obviously have mixed feelings about, because it's great for us as what we do for a living, and you kind of feel compelled to maybe play a bit more and make hay while the sun shines. You also feel like maybe it won't last, and then you also feel, I don't know if this is true, but you feel a little bit funny about it, because, you know, obviously the circumstances of how this came about are fucked up, so it's a weird situation.
Yeah, for sure. It's not nice to think that the reason why people are playing more now is because, you know, they're stuck in their houses, and they're not able to. A lot of the other entertainment avenues are not open to them anymore. But we do kind of have to just make the best of it and say, well, this at least online poker's there. I mean, I was talking about this yesterday with Murray, and she was saying, like, can you imagine if this had happened before the internet? I mean, we'd all have lost our minds already, because so much of, I mean, pretty much the only good things we have left now are all around the internet, in terms of like being able to communicate, be able to do stuff like this, being able to continue putting out podcasts, and then just, you know, being able to play online poker as well and just keep up with the world in general. If this was back in the early 90s, I think we'd have all lost our minds by now.
Yeah, there'd be people, well, I was going to say there'd be people in the papers, but I suppose there are anyway. Yeah, it's a weird one. And I suppose, you know, look, it can look very cynical from the online operators. You know, they're obviously all doing much better. They're all hitting guarantees and smashing things and putting on new guarantees or whatever. But I suppose what else can they do? The demand is there for their product. They want to, you know, provide something for people to keep themselves interested in, while at the same time run their companies and profit off available money that's out there. But I suppose in the spirit of that, Unibet have pushed a load of new guarantees on our nightly schedule. Have you played any of them?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's been great to see it. The whole Neptune series has been really, really good. It's a rebuy with a bunch of 10K guarantees. It's great to see, because, I mean, Unibet has always been, it's kind of an opposite, primarily a cash game site. So for tournament players like ourselves, you know, we played whatever we could on there, but it's gotten a lot better recently. And I mean, obviously it's sad that the reason why this is happening, but on the positive side, like, a lot of the recreational players that I coach, they're actually loving online poker now. Because I think the balance is right too. Like, there are so many recreations back playing now that it's not even a case that they're just getting feasted on. You know, the pools are very big, and the recreations who put in a bit of work on their game are more than competitive. There's a lot of very new players too, I think. And same thing that will happen with them as always happens. You know, the guys, they'll either get better and stick around, or they'll not get better and lose as much money as they're prepared to lose and disappear. It'll be a short-term thing, but speaking of online poker, one thing which has been has really come up is that lots of people who had home games are sort of now at a loose end. You know, maybe they played a home game once or twice a week, and now it's obviously they're being responsible. They're not going out and playing that game anymore, but they still want that social interaction with their friends. They don't necessarily want to play, a 1,000 runner field tournament. They just want to keep the home games going with their friends. And on that front, you've been spearheading an initiative with Unibet. Would you like to talk about that?
Nah, fuck them. There's too many people annoying me at the moment, Dara. I don't need any more advertisement for this. Now, if you have, sincerely, if you have a home game and you really want to bring it to the online felt, leave me alone. Just leave me alone.
Yeah, hit clapping up on Twitter. Preferably 10 times. If he doesn't respond within 5 minutes, send him another message. And then if he doesn't, Christopher Berkhill, that's the man you need to contact. He's his boss.
Now, I have to say it's been really heartening to see that many people wanting to keep their games alive, and it is actually a lovely sort of half an hour to an hour each day now that I communicate with those people, get their tournaments organised, and try to have them up on the schedule same day if possible, usually by the next day anyway. And they've been going really, really well. It's got to be said. I think maybe by the time this video goes out, I imagine it's going to be closer to 50 home games are up there, but at the moment there's over 30, and it's just been really nice to see that many new people join the site, that many people have an appetite for it. It's completely fucking ruining my image now as an unapproachable salty ambassador, because I'm being like fucking nice to everyone and helping them out with their games, and I don't know, it's going to take me
that
years.
Won't last.
It's going to take me years to recover my fucking brand image here. I
don't see that. Yeah, I mean, it is great to see people playing, using online to play, essentially continue their home games. And they can also obviously introduce new people as well. It's up to everybody who they want to invite to the game. All the games are password protected, so you can decide who to let in and who not to let in. We've been invited to a few of the home games, and we've been very happy to take part, but if you don't want us there as well, you can also keep us out. Just don't share the passwords. Some of the numbers have been just phenomenal. I mean, we've seen home games with bigger prize pools than some of the regular games on the schedule.
Yeah, shout out there to Mark O'Hare, bestie. He's been putting in Trojan work, building a crew of Irish and Northern Irish, and I'm sure he's even going further flung again to get some seriously good or they're not guarantees, but seriously good prize pools up and running on the site. So yeah, if you hit him up, you're in for a game that will have a few quid in the pot anyway. And no, it's just been overall really nice. I ran a game there the other day. There was only 4 lads showed up, but they sent me a message to say how grateful they were. They normally have a little home game between 5 or 6 of them. And the other couple of guys who missed were going to join in now next week, and it worked really well. And how good a structure could I give them so they could get 5 hours, because that's what they normally did on their old Wednesday night game or whatever it was. And I'm trying to work out something to scratch that itch for them. So it's it's really good fun. And I suppose that the nice thing is seeing people sort of find alternatives, like whether it's FaceTiming home for Sunday lunch, or it's like we have a camera set up now in our living room where I use this webcam on the TV, so we can actually patch straight through from our computer. I bring the microphone into the living room and the TV's got the webcam on it. So it's kind of like if someone else is doing the same thing, like we're in the same living room. Not exactly like it, but it's sort of a substitute, and it can just make you feel a bit more close to your extended family or friends when you're not.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's people are having to find new ways to do what they used to do. I mean, we still have all the same social impulses, obviously. So I think that's why the home game thing is interesting. Like, the home game market has always been a big sort of untapped market for online poker, in the sense that, like, it's out there, but those people have tended not to play online at all, and this is sort of pulling them in for the first time. So there might be some long-reaching positive impact on online poker. It used to always be made very clear to me when I went across to the WSOP that, like, a lot of the actual poker public just play home games. They never set foot in a casino. They don't play online, but they have a home game they play once or twice a week, and their numbers are very big. And that's a market that online poker has really struggled to get in. The other one that springs to mind is the pub poker market,
Yeah.
which is very, very big in Ireland in particular. But again, those people have tended not to play online. But now that they can't go and play in their pub, I think we are seeing more of them coming online.
Definitely. And then switching to Chip Race or sort of general content news. Obviously, we're on a short hiatus at the moment from the show. It's going to be a very short one, shorter than we intended, because I think the plan was to come back in 2 or 3 weeks' time. But I suppose just there's a bit of a hunger for content at the moment. And we thought, well, why not bring the next batch of shows forward a little bit, just so that people have the show to look forward to each week, if that's what they like to do on their walk. Hopefully they can still do their walk and listen to us or whatever it is. Listen to us in their bedroom now instead of listening to us on their commute into work, I hope. How do you feel about the upcoming shows, Dara? We were kind of talking the other day about the people, the kind of guests we're going to try and get, the shape of the shows.
Yeah, I'm very happy with the way the show's developed in the last year or so in terms of like the mix. I think we have a fairly clear understanding now than we used to have of our audience and kind of what they like and what they don't like. And a lot of the best reactions we get tend to be the guests who are just very real, who are, they're not presenting a facade. They come across exactly as they are, and that seems to resonate with our audience. So we're mindful of that now. Obviously, we've reached the point now where we've had so many guests that it could be an issue to keep trying to find new guests, but actually we don't really have that problem. We have so many people we want to come on and be good guests. The last batch of shows I've really enjoyed. Thought the interview we did with Michael Acevedo was one of the best we ever did.
Definitely.
Just such a nice guy, and also so much useful information he had in there on how to study and how to get better and how he went about that. So yeah, it's been very positive on that front. And most shows now we kind of have 4 guests actually, rather than the 2 we used to have, because we tend to try and get somebody in to do a strategy hand with us as well, and also the topical chat. So yeah, I think there's lots of positives there. I felt initially that it could actually be problematic for podcasts, because people are creatures of habit, and most people listen to the podcast either on their commute or on their exercise or their walks or whatever. And since that's been curtailed, I thought the numbers might suffer, but actually the numbers haven't suffered at all. So I guess people are just finding new ways to consume podcasts and listen to them.
Yeah, I'm wondering if people are starting to listen to them indoors or at home, when I would imagine it was kind of a commuting thing or a walking thing. I guess we can still go out for walks, so hopefully that's when they do it. Yeah, on the show front, I have to totally double down on what you said about Michael. I thought he's just such a lovely communicator. It was great to have somebody on who is as articulate as you are on strategy, and in a similar way can convey it in such a natural, easy to digest way. I thought that was a really big skill of his that was on show even in our 20-minute chat. And actually the Cale Burns interview ended up being really good fun, because he gave us that little tidbit story from the Sydney high stakes scene, which I think will probably have people talk. And I already saw he was getting a bit of social media interaction going, who was the person? How big was the biggest pot? And all this kind of stuff. So he obviously, he was a good sport there, telling us a little sexy morsel from those kind of games that I'd say is probably not something most players can ever even imagine. But yeah, looking into the next batch of shows, you're right. We're so lucky these days. We can almost get whoever we want, which is class, and we're really, really grateful for that. I feel like we've earned our stripes to get to that point by churning out good content, I hope, over the years. But, and at this point in the process now, have a guess, actually. How many guests do you think we've had? I actually know the answer to this.
Unique guests?
Unique guests.
I'm going to say, and we count strategy guests and people like that. Although I guess most of those are repeats. Okay, I'm going to guess 175.
Shit, that's a really good 178.
Wow,
it's a sick guess.
Yeah. Well, I figured we always just had 2 at the start, and then in the recent we've gone slightly up over 2. So it's we're up to 77 shows now, right? 78,
because we had.
There was a special one, the 50th.
Yeah,
I always forget about that one. Yeah, because a few of my other podcasts are my other favorite podcasts are in their 70s now as well. They're probably going to pass us out because they tend to be more consistent than us. But I think the plan, we're planning to make 21 shows over the next 12 months, I think. Is that
Yeah,
right?
so basically our average number of shows per year has been 23. So this year we've been ordered to do 21 by Unibet. We'll do some videos like this one, and we'll do some of our normal strategy videos as well. So there'll be sort of content maybe 4 out of every 5 weeks in some fashion from us. It won't be quite as it won't be quite weekly, but nearly is, to be honest. And actually, shout out to George Devine on this one, and maybe something for people to do if they are looking for ways to fill their time. George has actually gone back to season 1, episode 1. He's going to listen to the whole show through again.
Oh, wow.
An episode a day. And he told me he'd do a little review of each episode and sort of help us maybe republish those shows. Maybe.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, George is one of the best people. I was actually thinking about George recently because I always associate George with the Irish Open.
No, yeah.
Because George and they always come over for that. And I mean, obviously we did actually see him at the recent Unibet Open, but the only thing I really miss about live poker, like I don't really particularly enjoy the process of live poker compared to online poker, but the one thing I will miss, and I was thinking about this recently, is just like meeting people like George at the Irish Open and all the other people. I mean, and also the WSOP. I mean, we had some great social meetings last year. Jennifer Shahade, Luke Rabel, all those people. It's kind of sad to think that we might not see them this year.
It sure is.
Yeah.
It sure is. That is the thing that is kind of hard to take at times. And I get a pang of it now, I have to say, almost every day, of just being a kind of a social creature that I am. And I know I'm probably more on the extrovert scale than you are, Dara. But it does manifest itself as sort of a hunger for attention and a hunger for a mixture of socializing, you know, just not just the same people. You know, obviously Sharon and Hunter are in my little quarantine here, our little lockdown, and it's great seeing them every day, and it's great being able to physically touch them, but literally nobody else. Like the only other chance meetings I've had have been on walks along the boardwalk here in Malta, and just somebody I knew, and we're literally talking from a distance, keeping it short, and on we go with our lives. It does feel very, very different, and I imagine that's only going to feel worse and worse as the time goes by. So hopefully people out there, if you are struggling with that stuff, try and find other avenues to reach out and have the chats with people if you can, because it is, someone did tweet there recently, look out for the extroverts at this time. You know, obviously
I think that was Jen Shahada. She's been talking about that a lot on Instagram, how like extroverts, it's much harder for them in this period than the introverts. I mean, yeah, like we said at the start, for me personally, it's like, this is fine for me. I mean, I wouldn't want it to go on indefinitely, but I just get on with it. But I understand that for people who have, you know, who are on the extrovert end of the scale, this is really, really difficult time. And I mean, anything you can do to help out the extroverts, whether it's you know, FaceTime them or agree to make a video like this with your struggling friend in Malta.
Cracking up, Cara. Yeah, no, like it does make a difference. Actually, I got hit up by a couple of other podcasts who they obviously put out their content maybe every week or two as well, and a few of them reached out, and I was very keen to. I was like, yes, I'm available. When do you want me? I'm ready. I'm ready to go now. Here, I'll plug in my mic. So you will hear from me on a few other podcasts over the next few weeks, as I'm sure you'll hear from you too, Dara, because you obviously are more of a regular going around the general poker podcast circuit anyway. Yeah,
I did a few recently. I did one with Elliot Rowe and Brad Wilson. Actually, Brad's an absolute machine for putting out the thing. I was talking to Brad the other day, and apart from the fact he's put out a ridiculous amount of podcasts in a very short time, he told me he has 9 entire podcasts banked. Which would be 1.5 seasons for us. So yeah, I was on his, and I was also on Rec Poker, which is a great podcast aimed at primarily American recreational players. But yeah, great fun. It's always fun to do other people's podcasts. Now there's so many more poker podcasts around, and we also try and get other podcasters on. Because it is sort of like, it's not really a competition. We're not competing with each other. There's plenty of space in poker for lots of different podcasts, and that particular itch is being scratched at the moment.
Well, you say we're not competing with the others, but obviously we are competing with the Grid and Jennifer Shahade. Like, I do want to crush her.
Yeah, I feel
I want our ratings to be higher than hers.
every time I see an interaction between you and Jenna, I feel like I need to intervene because she's absolutely pooning you on Twitter.
Stop now.
It's really sad to see. You would never expect, but I kind of would have expected it though, because it's like the nice, quiet, smiley girls. They're the ones who, when you scratch them, the claws come out. Yeah, shout out to Jen. She's been more than holding her own against you.
Yeah, she's been relentless there. But no, I do. I wish her every failure. It's hard to, after you've won that award now, you can easily take your foot off the gas, Jenna. Going to be watching your next few shows. Going to be checking those out just to make sure that your standards aren't slipping now.
Yeah. Well, next year she'll be some bright new kid on the block with some new format, and she'll feel what you felt.
But I'm just trying to think, is there any other news going on? I have to say I am looking forward. I'm trying to work out if I can say this in a way that I'm trying to work out that by the time do we put this out, will I be allowed to say this, or how can I strategically do some leaky lapping stuff here? But I did have a conversation with the powers that be in Unibet yesterday, which I'm happy to reveal, implied or inferred the next UOS being maybe in the build-up to the Unibet Online series, which could be very exciting. They're planning on something substantially bigger than anything we've done before. So that could be a bit of crack. I think I can probably give that amount of detail and no more.
Yeah, the US is always great fun anyway, and it's great to see so many online series going on now. It makes sense to sort of have these series going now. When people have the time, like a lot of it is time more than money. I think for recreational players, like there's a lot of guys I know, they have plenty of money to play and they're quite happy to play it, but it's just when normal life is happening, let's say, they don't have as much time. Now they suddenly find themselves with a lot of time on their hands, and online poker is helping to keep them sane on that front. So it's good to see online poker finally getting some recognition as something other than just people like David Lappin preying on the weak.
I'm the least of your troubles, I promise you guys. The least of your troubles. I'll be contributing to the prize pools this weekend, don't worry. But well, I suppose on that note, we might leave it there. We might do something like this again. When only 14 people watch this video, we'll pretend it never happened. But if somehow it gets reasonable numbers, and if people leave comments saying that they would like this or what they would like us to talk about in the future, then what should we call it? Chip race, unedited chip race, unplugged.
Chip race, unfortunate fashion choices.
Oh, there's no need for it.
What is that thing, David? It's a wind cheater, is it?
It's just a sleeveless hoodie.
Sleeveless hoodie.
A Sonic the Hedgehog t-shirt underneath it.
Right,
and my own freshly cut hair by my own razor yesterday.
Well, the haircut is the most impressive part. Actually, the beard is very well groomed as well.
It's not too bad. Well, yeah, you see, you have more time in your hands.
You have way more time. You're just grooming now.
There's nothing to do if I go outside. I may as well do this, right?
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, well, on that happy note, we will sign off. And leave us a comment if you enjoy it. Leave us an abusive comment if you thought it was shite, and we won't do it again. We are very much at the mercy of the public on this stuff. We're not too emotionally invested in any of this stuff. So if you like it, that's great, and we'll try and do some more. And if you don't like it, we won't bother you anymore with it.
Sayonara.
Sayonara.